I'm Beth Lord. Last Monday, I was coming home from seeing a client. It was early afternoon, and Lake City Way was blocked off by a whole bunch of police. It was about 1:30 in the afternoon. I came home to tell my husband this, and he said, yeah, that about 10 o'clock in the morning, there were SWAT teams flying up in the air, and he said it was crazy. He didn't know what was going on, but something was going on. And then we heard that a woman had been murdered. My assumption, and assumptions make an ass out of me, was that it was some sort of drug-related situation. And it wasn't until the weekend that I asked my husband if he knew what had happened to this woman, and he said no. So then the following Monday, just a few days ago, I did research, and the research sickened me to find how this woman had been tied up and tortured and raped and killed in a horrific way. I have the link so you can read the details. I didn't know this woman, but I am involved because I feel so much sadness and pain. So, first of all, I made the commitment that every day I was going to pray and think about Jennifer, this 63-year-old woman who lost her life for no reason. So that was my first commitment. And I went on my Nextdoor app, which is so useful, and was reading different neighbors' comments and things like that, which made me sadder still. So in Nextdoor, you start talking to your neighbors that you don't even know. I got some white flowers and put them on her driveway next to the other flowers. In conversations with other neighbors, as you can imagine, her son is in a great deal of pain and grief, as well as the neighbors who knew her, because she was the nicest woman. She had a small dog, and she used to walk her dog with her next-door neighbor. And I think eventually, as this pain, you can't say lessen, because how can this pain ever lessen? But I know I'd like to get his story about dog walking with her, because I'm just horrified that this woman's last moments were terrified. Being a storyteller myself and a writer, I have to write her story. I don't know how I'm going to write it yet, but I think her next-door neighbor will have several pieces of wonderful stories about them walking their dogs. But that's not the point right now, because there's just grief and pain. And somebody suggested a vigil. Well, the son's had enough publicity, so he doesn't want public people around. But we can still have public support, and we can be proactive, and we can honor her memory in all sorts of ways. So that's why I'm starting this GoFundMe account, because the least I can do is, through her next-door neighbor, let her know to get information to her son about this funding and where it might lead. I don't know. I mean, it will be saved in my savings account so that with time, the neighbors and maybe the son can think about a plaque, or donating it to some place, or if he needs to pay for her funeral expenses, that can be right up front. I don't know yet, but I do know that I want her to be supported in a story that can be as healthy as possible. So you donating to this GoFundMe site gives her that possibility. Thank you.